When you encounter a snake, the worst move is to scream. The second worst is to strike too soon. The treacherous do not operate through strength, but through illusion. Their power lies in shadows, in manipulation, in whisper campaigns and sly movements masked by charm. They don't come at you with open blades. They come with smiles, with compliments, with offers that seem pure. And when you act emotionally, when you shout, accuse, or explode, you give them what they crave: noise. In noise, truth gets lost. Emotion muddies clarity. Your rage becomes the story, not their betrayal. The skilled understand this. They do not react to fake people with outrage. They respond with observation. They do not flail in the dark. They light a lantern and study the room. Every fake laugh, every backhanded compliment, every evasive glance, it is all data. The more a traitor thinks you are unaware, the more they reveal. Their deceit thrives when you give them emotional reactions, so you must become still, like a lake that reflects without distortion. While they twist, you remain unmoved. While they conspire, you calculate. Your silence is not weakness, it is loading a weapon. Your calm is not surrender, it is sharpening the knife. Understand this: the treacherous person is already at war with you. Their betrayal is a move on the board. If you retaliate with noise, you are no longer a strategist, you are a pawn. But if you respond with calculation, you become the architect of their collapse. Expose them not through argument, but through inevitability. Let their own actions dig the pit. Set the stage, let them perform, and let them fall. There is no need for grand confrontations. The more elegant revenge is surgical, a clean cut, unannounced, unseen until it is too late. This is not about cruelty. This is about self-preservation in a world where sincerity is prey. If you operate with pure intention, you will attract the impure. If your power is real, it will summon those who seek to siphon it. Do not lament this reality. Use it. The presence of a fake person in your life is not a curse, it is a test. A test of your clarity, your patience, and your ability to outmaneuver the dishonest without becoming like them. It is a challenge to remain principled while being ruthlessly precise. Anyone can cry over betrayal. Few can turn it into power. The wise do not give their enemies the gift of reaction. They give them the slow torment of indifference, followed by the finality of silence. In the theater of treachery, the one who does not act on impulse all writes the ending. You must learn to let your enemy dance, smile, and lie while you stay still long enough to see the pattern. Emotion is the bait. Strategy is the trap. If you master your reaction, you control the outcome. If you can stay composed while the treacherous squirm, you can dictate the time, place, and method of their unraveling. The greatest threat is not the known enemy, but the one who hides behind a friendly face. Treacherous people rarely show themselves as villains. They pose as allies, echo your beliefs, mimic your tone, and offer flattery disguised as friendship. They are not loud in their betrayal. They are subtle, calculating, and patient. To discard them too quickly is to lose the advantage of proximity. When you cast them away, you also discard your access to their intentions. What you can no longer observe, you can no longer control. And in the game of power, control is everything. Do not be fooled by the instinct to cleanse your circle in haste. It feels noble to sever ties with liars. It feels righteous to draw a line between loyalty and deceit. But there is no honor in blindness. If you push them into the shadows, they will still act, but you will be unaware. Keep the snake close, but do not let it strike. Keep it under glass, where you can study its movements, understand its habits, and predict its patterns. The closer they are, the more predictable they become. Familiarity breeds carelessness, and in their carelessness, they reveal everything. The art of dealing with fakes is not in confrontation, but in surveillance. Let them believe they are winning your trust. Let them feel comfortable. The more they believe you are unaware, the more they relax their guard. You must become the mirror they admire, not the hammer they fear, until the time is right. Because while they play a role, you play a longer game. While they fake loyalty, you gather knowledge. While they try to poison your reputation, you make a record of their steps. Power is not found in emotional purging, but in strategic positioning. Keeping them close also disarms them. People do not expect the ones who smile with them to be preparing a deeper plan. The treacherous assume their manipulation is working. They thrive on the illusion of superiority. When you allow that illusion to grow, you keep them exposed. You become the observer, they become the subject. And in this dynamic, you gain the leverage needed for control. Information becomes a weapon sharper than confrontation. You no longer need to guess their next move. You already know it. You no longer need to argue their intent. You have proof. Remember, the false man is most dangerous when he is unknown. But once you recognize him, he becomes manageable. Keep him in your line of sight, where he cannot hide. Play along with his game until he makes the fatal misstep. Do not rush to expel him. Use him. His vanity, his desire for power, his hunger for manipulation. These are weaknesses you can feed until they grow heavy enough to crush him. The one who thinks he is winning is never on guard. The one who feels safe is the one most vulnerable to exposure. And the one who stays close, convinced of his deception, never sees the trap being built beneath his feet. In a world polluted by deception, the one who speaks least gathers the most power. The treacherous are not quiet. They reveal themselves in fragments. They speak to be liked, to be seen, to control perception. They hide their true motives behind polished words, but the longer they talk, the more their fabrications contradict. Their eagerness to be heard is not strength, it is a leak. Let them talk. Let them think you are not watching. The more they fill the air with words, the more they expose what lies beneath their false smiles. Your role is not to match their noise, but to absorb it in silence. There is strength in being underestimated. When you do not constantly explain yourself, defend yourself, or correct the lies others spread, you confuse them. They want your attention. They want your response. But silence is a fortress they cannot breach. It forces them to wonder what you know, what you plan, and how much you've seen. The moment you react emotionally or speak impulsively, you become transparent. Your boundaries dissolve, and you hand over control. But when you speak with purpose, rarely, precisely, and only when necessary, you remain unreadable, and unreadability is power. Treacherous people reveal more through action than speech, but their speech still matters. They speak ill of others in private, assuming you are the same. They reveal their envy through backhanded praise. They hint at their ambitions in moments of pride. Their voice will always betray them before their actions do. But only if you're listening. Most people don't listen. They wait for their turn to talk. Most people miss the truth because they are too busy defending themselves. When you do the opposite, when you remain still, alert, and focused, every sentence becomes a confession. The fake flatterer will eventually trip over his compliments. The saboteur will contradict himself, trying to maintain multiple lies. Your job is to collect, not confront. Let them build their illusion. Let them become entangled in their own web. The more you know about them, the more invisible power you hold. You can control outcomes without confrontation. You can shape reputation without accusation. You can destroy without violence. Because knowledge is not just power, it is leverage, and leverage in silence is more dangerous than any open threat. Those who control the room are rarely the loudest. They are the ones who see everything and say nothing until the right moment. Observation sharpens your instincts. It gives you time to recognize patterns, to connect faces with motives, and to identify the fractures in every lie. The treacherous assume that silence means weakness, that kindness means gullibility. Let them assume. Their underestimation of you is their most fatal miscalculation. While they speak in circles, you walk in straight lines. While they build illusions, you prepare to collapse them. And when the time comes to act, your voice will cut through the noise. Not with anger, not with explanation, but with the finality of someone who has already won the unseen war in the theater of power. Loyalty must be elevated like a monument, visible to all who enter your domain. Those who serve with faith, who defend your name in rooms you do not enter, who resist the temptations of betrayal. These people must be seen, acknowledged, and rewarded, not just in private, but where others can witness it. Because loyalty is not merely earned, it is replicated. When people see that faithfulness is recognized, they begin to mirror it. Public reward does more than honor the loyal. It engineers behavior. It sends a message to all: this is what is valued. This is what is remembered. This is what leads to favor and elevation. But betrayal must be handled in the opposite fashion. The punishment for disloyalty must not be dramatic. It must not be theatrical. It must be silent, sharp, and final. The traitor should not become a martyr. Do not give them the dignity of a grand dismissal. Simply remove them, without noise or announcement. Let them vanish from your court, your council, your circle, like a shadow when the candle is snuffed. The wise do not punish to satisfy emotion. They punish to secure future loyalty. The moment you make betrayal a public spectacle, you risk awakening sympathy for the traitor. Instead, eliminate the threat and let others wonder why. Let them feel the cost without needing to see the execution. This approach cultivates both fear and respect. Fear not of cruelty, but of consequence. Respect not just for you, but for the system you represent. a structure where loyalty is a pathway to prosperity and betrayal is a quiet erasure. People begin to calculate differently when they understand that every move has weight. The treacherous become hesitant, unsure when their false loyalty might be detected. The loyal become bold, assured that their virtue is not invisible. Power is maintained not through paranoia, but through precision. Every reaction must be purposeful. Every recognition must be intentional. The clever leader knows that justice must be symmetrical. Visible reward for virtue, invisible consequence for vice. It keeps the people in check without breeding rebellion. It trains the ambitious to channel their desire for power through service, not sabotage. And it keeps the disloyal disoriented, unsure whether they've been discovered until the doors are already closed to them. Let their opportunities vanish. Let their voice no longer echo. Let their absence speak more loudly than any accusation. Power that explains itself is power that doubts itself. True control needs no declaration. By making the loyal rise and the disloyal disappear, you create a system governed not by sentiment, but by design. People do not respond to ideals, they respond to consequences. And when you become the quiet hand that balances both, you command not only behavior, but belief. Those around you begin to act as though every move is watched, every word remembered. They police themselves, they correct each other, and your authority becomes embedded not just in position, but in the very rhythm of their decisions. In a world where deception wears 1,000 faces, sincerity must become your most guarded possession. The treacherous are not rare, they are skilled. They are masters of performance, actors on a stage where everyone wears a mask. They know how to cry without sorrow, how to praise without admiration, how to listen without caring. If you walk through this world bare-faced, believing that truth alone will protect you, you will be devoured. The only way to survive among pretenders is to become the most convincing one in the room. Not because you are false, but because you must not be exposed. To deal with fakes, you must become a reflection they cannot read. You must learn the art of camouflage. Blend into their game without losing your core. Let them see what you want them to see. Give them smiles, nods, and small agreements if it keeps them close. Do not rush to show your true intentions. If they are lying to win, then lie better, not in words, but in presentation. Make them believe they have your trust. Let them feel like the puppet master while you hold the real strings. Deception is their tool. Mastery over deception must become yours. People reveal their intentions not when they are watched, but when they believe no one sees. So you must become invisible behind a mask. Pretend ignorance where you are informed. Pretend interest where you are bored. Pretend alliance where you are indifferent. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you are naive. The most dangerous man in the room is not the one shouting threats, but the one who listens, agrees, and remembers. Use their own assumptions as your shield and their overconfidence as your entry point. Wearing a mask is not weakness, it is discipline. It is the ability to play the long game while others burn themselves out in short battles. You do not need to prove anything to those who wear deceit like armor. You only need to outlast them, outmaneuver them, and reveal their hollowness by staying whole behind your silence. And when the time comes to strike, let it be clean, sudden, and without apology. Because when you have played the part so perfectly that they believe you incapable of retaliation, that is when your power is most absolute. Never forget that the fake are always watching to see who they can manipulate. They are constantly testing for weakness, looking for emotional leaks, trying to bait honesty out of you. Guard your inner world. Not everyone deserves access. Your strength lies in being unreadable. Make your thoughts deep waters, your intentions a locked vault. Smile when necessary, but never blindly. Give just enough of yourself to keep them engaged, but never enough to be exposed. And in doing so, you become the one thing a liar cannot control, a presence that adapts, observes, and endures without surrendering its truth in a world ruled not by justice, but by perception, not by virtue but by advantage. The ability to detect and dismantle treacherous intent becomes essential for survival. The game is not fair, and those who insist on playing it with naivety will be outmaneuvered by those who wear deception like armor. To endure, you must cultivate the discipline to see what is not said, to reward loyalty without sentiment, to punish betrayal without spectacle, and to wear your own mask when the battlefield demands it. This is not cynicism, it is clarity. It is the ability to act with precision rather than emotion, to navigate the false with intelligence, and to build a position of power so unshakable that the treacherous collapse under their own illusions. Let them play their games. You were born to command the board.